Now let's move it forward with who's next. Gail Benson, the owner of the team, said they're going to do a thorough search. Sean Payton made a little bit of an endorsement for Dennis Allen, who has been overlooked for years in the head coaching interview process. He actually canceled an interview with the Bears yesterday to be in New Orleans for what happened with Sean Payton, and obviously he's going to get considered there. Here's Sean Payton making a not-so-subtle pitch for Dennis Allen to be the next coach.
Look, in fairness to Dennis, who's a great candidate in the building, or any other coach that possibly would be hired, I think that there's no half in this game. You know, you're jumping in the deep end and you're swimming. And if you elect to stay out, then that's fine. But I think that, I think that that's the approach that I think has to be taken.
It's one of those subtle little moments that to outsiders really isn't a big deal. But if you're Pete Carmichael, you're thinking, hey, man, I've been here for 16 years. You don't mention me as a great candidate in the building, too? What's up with that? And I guarantee you, Pete Carmichael, a little chafed and not being, okay, at least give me a shot. At least give me a chance at this job, Sean. At least interject my name with Dennis Allen's. But look at what the defense has done. Look at what Dennis Allen did. Who was the guy that got the whistle when Sean Payton had COVID during the 2021 season? And it was a Sunday night game at Tampa Bay. It was Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
And not only did his defense step up, but he ran the team, and they shut out Tom Brady. Shut out Tom Brady. That's the ultimate closing argument. If you're looking for any type of continuity in New Orleans, try to work your way through this, Dennis Allen is the no-brainer.
I think so, too. It makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, maybe there's somebody else out there I'm not quite thinking of right now, but there's still things in place there that I think you'd go, man, do we really want to blow this up? You know, yeah, there's no Sean Payton. Okay, but let's, we can have an offensive coordinator and a staff that's very similar still to what Sean Payton had if we make Dennis Allen the head coach. And like you've talked about, defense that's flirted with, being a top 5, top 3 type of defense the last 4 or 5 years in football. And now, wait, the rest of the staff, it's still Sean Payton-esque. And to what you talked about, there's a guy like Pete Carmichael who has been right next to Sean Payton's an extension of him, but hasn't, always had to call the play or maybe do the finishing touches to the game plan or have to come up with, the most creative things that we know Sean Payton are so famous for. But still, those are all positives. That's where, the Saints, this is a situation where I really would look inside the building to go, wait, again, we got kind of a good thing here. We got a good staff. It's viewed that way across football, from all facets. And you got a coach who is an outside-the-box defensive mind. And he's changed, and he showed the ability to adapt. He's changed his defense from where it was when he got the job with the Raiders however many years ago. So he's able and willing to evolve. It makes sense to me. And, again, he's built a culture down there, Sean Payton, that I think you could just hand over to these guys. And it really, I'm not going to say it wouldn't miss a beat, but I don't think it's going to be too far off from what he created there. And you still got a lot of great minds on that staff to coach a football team. So that's where I would kind of lean that way too, Mike.
Something that just occurred to me as we were thinking about the internal candidates, and this is kind of odd, and I know that there's only so much control that the individual coach has over this, but there is no Sean Payton coaching tree after 16 years as the head coach. Who from his staff has ever gone on to be a head coach anywhere else? Has it ever happened? I mean, Pete Carmichael has just kind of been overlooked. Their defensive coordinators have never been great.
Lombardi left town to go be offensive coordinators twice, right?
Right, but he's not a head coach.
I know.
He's not a head coach.
You're right. It's very interesting. I think that tells you how much he does. I think that's what we just answered. Okay, Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's the only
one. That would be one, right?
And it's just this year.
And but I think it tells you that how much he's doing within that organization too, and that he's got his hands on everything to a degree. Maybe that's what that kind of says there all together. He's a special coach, and he's always willing to adjust and get new minds in there and try to get them to help him out that way. Like even this year, like where they got Chris Richard, right? He comes in to help the secondary. Was a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Hey, let's get another idea in here, another guy who can maybe give us a few details or things that we haven't thought about. That's where they're special, and to that's why I would be careful if I'm the Benson family about going outside the box on this one and disrupting what you already got in that coaching staff.
Doug Marrone was there through 2008 before he became the head coach at Syracuse for 3 years, and then he ended up the head coach at Buffalo Bills. So that's kind of a circuitous
It's all like that
route.
Parcells, Sean Payton
right.
combination of people to where it's like, yeah, I guess they're on the same tree. I don't really know how to think about it, but they're all from the same school of thought, all from the same school to where back to where like I could see him burnt out. Hey, coaches, I know, they're grinders. I mean, they're all. It's psycho work. It's 5 in the morning till 10 at night. But I will say, in my experience here, the Parcells, Belichick coaching tree, there's another level of all-inness, all right, Simsism there, as far as what they do. There is. I could talk to some coaches, coming home, or I'm texting with them and, hey, I'm getting ready to leave the office and it's 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I want to be like, man, the guys in New England, Sean Payton, they're still going strong and still got like 2 or 3 hours in front of them. It's a different type of grind with that coaching tree, too. They have a different set of expectations as far as what's expected for them and looking at every detail on the football team to something you explained a little earlier. And I think that's why you see, maybe this coming to an end, too, here, just to where it's hard to look over every little thing all the time, 24/7, 365.
That's the thing. You can come up with different things to do that will take up those hours. It's not like they're sitting there spinning their wheels.
Right.
They come up with concrete tasks that are aimed at finding a way to potentially enhance the team's efforts. Not everything you're doing during that process is working. You're doing a lot of turning rocks over and kissing a lot of frogs, but if you get lucky, that one extra piece of film you watch, that one extra moment you take to think really hard about something may give you the idea that makes all the difference in the world. And the people who don't approach it that way don't understand what that is. And that's the problem. You get to the point potentially of diminishing returns, and the returns do diminish because you're putting in all that extra time just for that hope, just for that whisper, just for that one thing that can make the difference. But they understand. They understand that one thing that can make the difference is elusive, and you need to put in all those extra hours in the hopes of maybe grabbing it out of the sky. That's why Sean Payton talked about working until 2 a.m. That's why the Patriots coaches do what they do. That's the difference between the great coaches and everybody else. The great coaches are constantly looking for that one thing that's going to make the difference between winning a championship and not winning a championship.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.